What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome into another edition of NBA Now from Chat Sports. And with you, as always, I'm your host, Jimmy Crowther, breaking down all the latest news and rumors around the NBA. And today, I'm breaking down my top 5 targets for the New York Knicks in NBA free agency because it's a big one for the New York Knicks this summer. And they're starting out with number 1, the biggest fish of the entire summer. That's Kevin Durant. Now, this man has been linked to the New York Knicks all season long, from the beginning of the season all the way until now, where they're in the Western Conference Finals and he's injured, he's not playing. He's been linked to the New York Knicks. Now, they obviously have room to sign him. He would be their biggest get. He's sidelined during this Western Conference Finals with the right cap strain, but he has been killing it this season. You can see he's been putting up 26 points per game, 6.4 rebounds, 5.9 assists, and shooting over 52% from the field. Kevin Durant can absolutely be the best scorer whenever he wants to on this Golden State team, and he can be one of the best players in the entire world when he wants to in the NBA. Now, Kevin Durant, like I said, would be the biggest get in all of free agency, not just for the Knicks, but for whoever went out and got him. But the Knicks have targeted a lot of big names in the past, so I want to look at the past 8 biggest guys the New York Knicks have targeted in their past free agencies, and we'll start in 2010. When they went after a little guy named LeBron James, who's playing over with the Los Angeles Lakers, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. Joe Johnson was also in that mix too, but they wanted to pair one of those big 3 together, but unfortunately for them, all 3 of them ended up going to Miami, and then they swung and missed on Joe Johnson, so what'd they end up with? Raymond Felton and Timothy Mozgov. Not quite LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and or Chris Bosh. So then you fast forward a little bit to 2015, once they had cap space once again. They went after DeAndre Jordan, who obviously had that big debacle with the Dallas Mavericks. Ironically, now he's back with the New York Knicks after ironically signing with the Dallas Mavericks. They went after LaMarcus Aldridge, who opted for the San Antonio Spurs. Greg Monroe at the time was a big name in free agency. They went after him, swung and missed once again. And then, look who it is. Kevin Durant in 2016, the summer afterward, they chased him. Couldn't even get a sit-down meeting with him before he opted to sign with the Golden State Warriors. So the Knicks have swung big a lot, and they've missed big a lot. Because that same season of 2015 and 2016, they ended up going with guys like Courtney Lee and Lance Thomas to fill out the roster. So they're circling back around, and they're saying, hey, this is our summer. This year we're going after Kevin Durant, and we're going hard. We are going to get him at whatever it costs. We're going to land Kevin Durant. And it could be a failure if they don't, because, mind you, the Knicks didn't get the number 1 pick. They were projected to get the number 1 pick. They lost all season long just to land a chance at Zion, and now they're at number 3. Now, they're still going to get a great player there. But if they miss on Kevin Durant, is this summer a failure? Would you guys consider this summer a failure for the New York Knicks if they swing and miss, strike 3, on Kevin Durant? Type Y in the comment section below. Type in the comment section below if you don't believe this will be a failure, because there's other names that we can look at that the Knicks might target, like Kyrie Irving, point guard for the Boston Celtics, had just the craziest up and down season emotionally with the Celtics and with their fans. If you remember, back at the beginning, he met with some of the season ticket holders, and he said, hey guys, if you'll have me, I'm re-signing this summer. I'm coming back. I'm signing that deal with the Boston Celtics and staying. And then halfway through the season, he said, I don't owe anybody anything. I don't need to come back. I don't have to resign. I don't owe anyone anything. This season, put up 24 points per game, 5 rebounds, dishing out nearly 7 assists for a Boston team that was bounced out in 5 against the Milwaukee Bucks. Obviously, they had a great season. But the thing about Kyrie Irving is he's going to be tied to whatever Kevin Durant does. If Kevin Durant goes to New York, Kyrie Irving is likely following him to New York. Kevin Durant stays in Golden State, I don't know what Kyrie's going to do. Maybe he looks at LA. Maybe he looks at Brooklyn. Maybe he decides, you know what, drama's over. Let's go back to Boston. Let's keep building there. But if Kevin Durant goes to New York, I'm predicting Kyrie goes to New York, which means this New York Knicks roster is looking pretty nice. You look at Kyrie Irving at the starting point guard position. Shooting guard, Mr. RJ Barrett, they'll probably take him with that number 3 overall pick. Kevin Knox and Kevin Durant are the 2 forwards. Kevin and Kevin playing the 3 and the 4. And then Mitchell Robinson at the center position had a great rookie season. Nobody expected him to do all the things that he did. Or you could put a veteran in like DeAndre Jordan. Would also fit really nicely to round out that starting 5 in New York. So remember, Kyrie and Kevin Durant are basically a package deal. They're basically tied together. And if they both go to New York, they're going to make some noise in the Eastern Conference. But how much noise do you think they're going to make? I want you to tell me in the comment section below, how far would this New York Knicks team go in the playoffs? So again, they got two Kevins, they got Kyrie, they got RJ Barrett, and then they're going to get, when you get guys and stars like Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, you're going to attract some other guys, whether it's for the mid-level exception or some minimum deals. You're going to attract some more guys to New York. So how far does this team go in the playoffs? Let me know in the comment section below, or tweet me your thoughts at Jimmy_Crowther on Twitter. Now, number 3, backup plan. If Kyrie Irving doesn't come along to New York, Kemba Walker, the hometown kid. Now, if you remember, Kemba Walker had a great run at Madison Square Garden. One of the best runs in all of college history in that Big East tournament in Madison Square Garden. Like I said, about 11 games when he was with UConn in 2011. Great run. So we know he likes to play in New York. We know he can play in New York, but does he want to play in New York and go home is the real question. This season put up 26 points per game, 6 assists, and nearly 4 rebounds per game. Was an all-star in Charlotte where he's playing. But the problem with Kemba Walker is he's going to have a lot of suitors on his tail outside of New York. You start at number 1. One of the teams that's been the hottest on his trail lately in multiple reports are the Dallas Mavericks. They would love to pair him with Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis. Another team, the Los Angeles Lakers, they're looking to put some talent around LeBron James and maybe bounce Lonzo Ball out of that starting point guard position, put Kemba Walker in there. Number 3, you see New York Knicks. Whenever a hometown kid is entering free agency, you got to look at his hometown team. And that hometown team is the Knicks. And then number 4, the Charlotte Hornets. He's been with them his whole career. You got to think this guy values loyalty. And if he makes an All-NBA team, let me remind you, he's eligible for a super max deal, which is absolutely nuts. So, Kemba Walker, like I said, had an outstanding season. Great all-star player for the Charlotte Hornets. But I want to know where you think Kemba Walker is going to land. Will it be one of those 4 teams I mentioned? There's some sleeper teams that you could mention in the comment section below. Let me know where Kemba Walker will land this summer. It's going to be really interesting to track his free agency, I think. Another guy who's going to be interesting to track is Jimmy Buckets. Jimmy Butler got traded to the Philadelphia 76ers from the Minnesota Timberwolves after all the drama that went down there. And before that happened, before that trade went down, there were multiple reports saying, hey, Jimmy Butler is a lock to go to New York. But then he had all the success that he had in Philadelphia, and it's not looking so certain because they could absolutely re-sign him, and they absolutely want to because he was vital to their playoff run. Jimmy Butler was this season. He put up 18 points per game with the 76ers, 5 rebounds, 4 assists per game. The biggest question mark that comes with Jimmy Butler is his attitude, because the things that went down in Chicago, the way things went down in Minnesota, got really ugly really fast with Jimmy Butler. But then all of a sudden he goes to Philadelphia and he becomes this great leader. He bounces back to the elite two-way player that he once was with the Bulls, and he doesn't bring a whole lot of drama with him. So here's the thing with Jimmy Butler. If you can keep him happy, if you can keep winning, the drama's going to disappear. So if he goes to New York, you better make sure some other stars go with him so he keeps the drama out of Madison Square Garden. Otherwise, things could turn pretty ugly pretty quickly for the New York Knicks. Now, number 5, we got one more guy I want to look at, and this name is a bit more disappointing than those first 4 I mentioned. This is Terry Rozier out of the Boston Celtics, played in Louisville in college. Like I said, this is, like it says on the graphic, this is Plan Z. I mean, Terry Rozier is not a guy that you say, look, our summer, if we get Terry Rozier, that's an absolute win. No. What happens is if you swing and miss on Kyrie, and if you swing and miss on Kemba Walker, but you land someone like Jimmy Butler or Kevin Durant, then you can bring in Terry Rozier. Now, Rozier is a restricted free agent, which is going to be a big deal because you still got to get over that hurdle. You got to be able to make sure that the Boston Celtics don't match, which I'm sure they would love to if Kyrie Irving walks. But here's the thing with Rozier. He had a pretty down year in Boston. 9 points per game, 3.9 rebounds per game, just over 2 assists, and then he shot 35% from 3. He sacrificed a lot. He said it himself on television. I sacrificed more than anybody. I sacrificed my talent. I sacrificed my playing time because of Kyrie Irving. And I think that's true. I think Terry Rozier could be a great starting point guard for a great playoff team, but he can't be a number 2 or number 3 option even. He's got to be just a point guard that runs the show for you while you let your stars take over. So if Kevin Durant goes to New York, Kyrie says no thank you. Kemba says no thank you. Then you get Terry Rozier. You put him next to KD, and you got something pretty nice going on in New York. So that's my last guy that we're looking at for the New York Knicks this summer. You can see them all there, 1 through 5 in that order. This is who the Knicks need to chase. Kevin Durant, number 1. You can't go wrong trying to get the biggest free agent of the summer, and I think they have a 99% chance to get a real meeting with this guy this year. Kyrie Irving, number 2, Boston Celtics point guard. Going to be tied to Kevin Durant. We're going to have to see what he does. I don't see him going back to Boston, but if he doesn't go back to Boston, coming down between the New York Knicks and the Los Angeles Lakers, And then Kemba Walker, number 3, the hometown kid. Great fallback option for Kyrie. Jimmy Butler at 4, and then Terry Rozier rounding out my top 5 free agent targets for the New York Knicks. So that's who I want to see the Knicks go after. You add that number 3 pick, RJ Barrett probably. You got something nice going on in New York. But who do you want to see the New York Knicks sign this summer? Let me know in the comment section below. If it's a guy not on my top 5, put it in the comment section below. Tell me who you want to see, and I'll keep you updated all summer long with all the drama going on in New York. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next time.